Patience. It's not exactly my strong suit, but I suspect that it may not be yours either. For after all, we live in a time in which we've all been conditioned to expect things instantly. We get frustrated if downloads on our computers take more than a few seconds. We don't like long lines at the Chick-fil-A, and we carefully scrutinize whether the right lane or the left lane is moving faster. We steer our grocery carts towards the self-checkout registers because we don't want to wait on somebody else to scan those groceries. And when we pray, well, we expect God sometimes to deliver like gallery furniture. Buy it now, ask for it now, pray for it now. It should be here in 4 hours or less, right? And that's not how the spiritual life works, is it? In fact, it's not even how life in general works during these continued days of COVID quarantines and of daily case counts. Though we all assume that by now, by midsummer, that we'd be past this pandemonium and moving back towards a more normal way of life, well, here we still are. It's almost as bad as waiting for a paycheck to hit our bank sometimes, isn't it? But maybe, just maybe, waiting upon God at least is good for us. For as we wait upon the Lord, He can be working on us, changing us, strengthening us, preparing us for His perfect timing. Old Isaiah the prophet understood this, for long ago he observed that even youth, young people, will grow tired and weary. To be honest, sometimes they do fall down before some of the rest of us do. He said that young men will stumble and fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. You see, that God whom we're waiting on, He's the same God who, at least according to the earlier verses of this Isaiah 40, has measured the waters in the hollow of His hand and marked off the heavens, who has held the dust of the earth in a basket, weighed all the mountains on scales, arranged the hills in a balance. He's the same one who sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and to Him, why, we're just like grasshoppers. He stretched out the heavens like a canopy, spread them out like a tent to live in. He calls forth the stars by name, one by one. And just in case you were wondering, He can bring princes to naught and reduce the rulers of this world, all of them, to nothing. That's the thought upon whom we wait, dear friends. Oh, I get it. We still get a bit impatient. Sort of like the story of a man who walked to the top of a hill one day and in order to talk to God, the man asked God, "What's 1,000,000 years to you?" And God said, "A minute." Then the man asked, "Well, God, what's $1,000,000 to you?" And God said, "A penny." The man thought about it, and then he said, "God, can I have a penny?" And God said, "Sure, in a minute." We all want this season in our lives to be over. I get it. But again, maybe learning how to wait is a good thing. For we wait on God because He is God, and we're not. He can do what we can't. And if He answered us immediately every time we asked Him for something and gave us exactly what we wanted, well, then we'd be in control and not Him, right? Only we don't quite have His wisdom. Yeah, patience. Not my stronghold. But learning how to trust God, well, that's all worth it, I think. For as impatient as I can be, how grateful I am that at least according to 2 Peter 3, verse 9, the Lord is not slow in keeping His promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, He is patient with us. One day, we'll be able to go to ball games again. Gather in church, sit wherever that we want to. One day, we'll take the mask off and we'll breathe deep once more. One day, we'll line up for a vaccine and walk away with a peace we haven't had for several months. For this too shall pass. And until it does, What do you suppose God would want you and me to understand?